Welcome back, folks. This is House Corrections and Institutions Committee. It is Thursday, March 26th, and we're going over our second draft 2.1 of our proposed capital bill. John Gray's with us. Thank you, John, for working on this on such short notice. So
Sure.
walk us through.
Let's do it. John Gray, Office of Legislative Counsel. If you guys are comfortable with it, just because Scott is out of the room and he'll be bringing you an updated spreadsheet, I might propose starting with the policy sections at the back of the bill, and then we come back to the numbers after. So with that, I am going to screen share from draft 2.1, but I am going to be, pretty far in the draft, page 13. Exactly.
Right.
So a lot of this is just going to be confirmation that things remain unchanged from what you saw earlier today. The first of these are the DEC pieces. Section 10, this remains as we had it this morning, as does section 11. So we talked about these loan agreements. I still have on page 16 the solicitation piece for Division for Historic Preservation. I don't know if you guys want to discuss what to do about this. Yeah.
Why don't we skip over that?
Okay, sure.
Come back to that.
All right.
It's nothing. Go.
There's
Yeah.
section 13 is the same as you saw before. I think we talked about section 14, the Southern State Correctional Facility transfer. So that is in a good place. This reflects the standalone language we walked through this morning outside of the scope of the capital bill, but now it's included. As you can see, the repeals section is updated to capture repeal of that 2024 capital bill authorization, right? That it initially spoke to the 10 acres. So this is replacing that 10-acre provisions.
So there's two.
Yes. So the way that it
Okay.
exactly. So under section 15, sub A repeals the 2024 capital bill provision that authorized the transfer of this property for a different purpose in a different amount of acreage. So this is replacing that transfer authority. And then under subsection B, this is repeal of section 14. So the new authority, the transfer authority, if it hasn't been used, so repealed on July 1, 2030. So if it hasn't transferred at that point, you would no longer have any transfer authority for this particular parcel. But what you have as a result of this bill would be you replace the 2024 authority with this new authority, which is for economic development of the roughly 22, 23 acre parcel. And then it has to be transferred under particular contingencies. There's a check-in at the end of the process if it hasn't been developed for economic development purposes. That's with BGS. And then if it hasn't been transferred at all, the transfer authority itself would expire July 1, 2030. So there would no longer be that ability. Effectively, if you wanted to transfer in the future, you would need to again pass legislation to do so. That is the practical consequence of this draft.
So the language in little b 61 covers that because it says has not begun developing transfer property for purposes of the economic development. So they have to begin development prior to March of 2030.
Basically the March 2030 piece is saying, you're stating here that this is for economic development purposes. The expectation is that you're going to be doing that along those lines. But if you haven't begun developing in those ways by the end of March 2030, reach out to BGS to discuss what else could be done. I do want to note that's just separate from transfer authority. That presupposes that it has been transferred, right? If the town has not begun developing the transfer property. And then the section 15B repeal is the repeal of the transfer authority, meaning the transfer is contingent upon a number of conditions. If they hadn't been met, that transfer authority would go away in July 1, 2030. So two separate kind of check-ins. One is how's the development itself going? And the second is, did the transfer happen? If not, then the transfer authority will go away.
But says the conditions haven't been met and transfer didn't happen. So if the transfer happens and the development, if the transfer happened, but the development isn't completed yet, we haven't started it yet.
Sure.
then it gets through and then possibly repealed on July 1st of 2023.
Yeah, you could think of it as not, it doesn't really, repeal of the section doesn't matter at the point that it repeals if you have transferred the property. Because what you're repealing is the transfer authority, and the check-in under sub B, which is the check-in with BGS to confirm economic development, that's still going to have already happened because that precedes the July 1, 2020.
So they transfer, they develop. Does the authority to the transfer get repealed on July 1st, 2020?
Yes, but it doesn't matter because it's been transferred, right? The authority that you extended is for the transfer. It has now been transferred. You no longer need the authority to transfer, right? It's been transferred.
Just so we.
Bottom of that page, these are the provisions you were talking about just before we went live. This is pulled from the budget. This is the Green Mountain Youth Campus.
I really read this. It's really important, folks. As I said last Friday, this is out of our bailiwick, but we're in the crosshairs. I did sign off on this language after we revised it a little. It is in the big bill. So it's members to really read this, so we're aware of what we're doing.
Could I just ask one question before we do that? What does high end mean? Well, and the only reason I say that is I think a lot of times people will associate it with a very costly project or something. So I didn't know if there was another possible term.
So this is what
Full
was,
service or I don't.
this is what was developed in human
Okay,
services
great.
and what is in the budget. So
Okay,
I probably would have just said Green Mountain Youth Campus, but this was the
right.
initial.
Now, they're also looking at other beds beyond just what we're building. Is what they're doing.
It's not going to be an ambiguous written analysis. And that it's unambiguous. That's important.
I will say, if you do Control F in a lot of the budgets, you will see language. But,
Okay.
yeah. This is not the first usage of, I have a similar reaction. Would you guys like for me to read this out, or do you want to just read on your?
Oh, folks don't read it.
Alice, why are you and Senate institutions the only one? Oh, it's just in consultation with. Okay,
JFC contains the relevant other members.
yeah, okay, okay.
So I've got a question on line 3 on page 2. What is it? That's the appropriations bill from last year. So do you know what's in that section 300?
It was a so the form, and the reason that it says consistent with
Yeah.
rather than under, the initial drafting of this section would have required a 5-year operating budget, right? So the genesis of this problem is you're not getting the information specifically that Human Services and other folks wanted outside of the context of this room where you're concerned about walls and build, right? They wanted operating budgets. The language in that budget section E 300.1 spoke to a 5-year operating budget. And so the reason this says consistent with is if you look at what this asks for, and it's line 1, unambiguous written analysis of the estimated cost of an annual operating budget. And so the thinking was you really just need to know annual cost. It doesn't have to be this exact 5-year term, right? So it's do this in the form of the report under this previous budget, but we only need you to have annual operating costs, presumably exactly what you would have if you were putting together a 5-year anyway, but yes, that is the reason for that call out. And if it's helpful, I can find that and pull it up on screen, but that's what's going on here.
Whoever reports this section needs to know that. I'm not reporting. I give an overview, but other people report sections of that.
And you may be missing discussion of it on the floor right now, because this is in the budget, and
There you go.
Go back to lunch.
So the other thing I want to let the committee know, the way that I operate as much as possible, because it's happened, I would say probably 95% of the time it happens. When there's a big issue like this in particular, where it says that Joint Fiscal Committee would consult the chairs whether to approve the resumption of expenditures. When that's percolating out there, I always send something out to the committee members to wait. Done that in the past, I continue to do that. I send it out, usually on your legislative email, this is legislative work. Don't use your legislative email during the summer, fall, let me know. But there are times that things will pop up and I need the committee to weigh in through email. So that's what I do. I think you've gotten some in the past, maybe.
Yeah.
Then I put in a time certain to respond because it's really important. Sometimes it's a quick turn. Because I don't want only my voice to give yes or no to this. The reason we did this same language, it may not last throughout the remainder of the session. If DCF comes forward with an operating budget, both Human Services and Appropriations Committee. Then the language may go away. The other thing that I would like to do at some point, when things have settled down in the building and not everybody's working on getting bills reported on the floors, really have the commissioner at BGS sit down and talk with some of our counterparts and Ways and Means, Human Services and Approps, to talk about the process of the construction and the money flow. Because there's 300,000 plus a little bit that BGS has right now. And part of the 700,000 that we've put in for FY27, which is going to be frozen by this language, BGS needs some of that 700,000 this year. Backfill. And then 300, so they can continue conversations. And so that's what I'd like to do once things calm down a bit here. And people can start thinking, understand the construction world, because right now everyone's just focused in terms of the contractor who's gonna provide the services. And I did mention to a member of Appropriations Committee, yes, I know you're interested in the contract cost to operate, provide services, but your DCF is also going to be paying the lease payment.
Yeah.
And that impacts their budget. They were like, really?
Mhm.
Yeah. So.
So A requires AHS monthly reports during adjournment to joint fiscal and joint justice oversight. And then B is the actual prohibition on spending. And it says DCF and BGS not to expend funds for further development of the Green Mountain Youth Campus in FY27 until one of two conditions is met. Either JFC off session, proven consultation with the chairs of these committees of jurisdiction upon reviewing one of those reports. So if you got the information you wanted, could approve the continued expenditure, or some resumption of the legislature next year, the General Assembly could authorize resumption of spending by legislative enactment. So A is reporting off session. B is you can't spend until you either get off session approval or in session approval.
So on joint justice, you've got the chair of Human Services. And you have a member from Appropriations Committee in the House side. You've got the chair of Welfare on the Senate side. And you have a member from the Senate Appropriations Committee. And you have the two chairs from institutions. So those committees are covered. So that can keep a thumb on it too.
Yep.
So you got two people from institutions over there, because you have the chairs, Senator Harrison, and then there's Senator Polchis. And from approach would be Senator Norris.
And from Squirrel.
Squirrel is ours from approach. Topper's gonna be replaced. He's from healthcare. So that's who makes it up. So that will up along. So this is the folks who are concerned.
And
I think the language works.
that looks good. And I did have a good conversation
It's
that
excellent, Jeremy. Thank you.
the chair knows. And on behalf of the chair and the other two chairs with DCF. So we'll see if the information is forthcoming, but
You haven't been successful yet, right?
not yet. They're allegedly, the person I talked to, I believe, has good faith. But they're compiling what they believe they get for information, but we'll see if it comes through. We'll see. But we did make contact is the point, and
So some people have to run it up the flagpole,
yeah.
right?
So ideally, this language disappears from both the budget and the capital. But
That's the goal, at the end of the session.
the next section is section 17. This I scrambled to throw together very quickly, so.
We appreciate that.
But, this is a report on Wi-Fi installation in state correctional facilities, and I just called out the relevant heads. So Secretary of Human Services, Commissioner of Corrections, and the Chief Information Officer of Digital Services shall monthly report of the General Assembly is adjourned in calendar year 27. So similar concept to what we just talked about actually for the Green Mountain Youth Campus monthly report during adjournment to the Joint Legislative Justice Oversight Committee, membership you just saw, consultation with the chairs of the House Committee on Corrections and Institutions. And this, I can pull that if you don't need the in consultation with.
Yeah.
Thank
And it
you.
depends- It depends, did you anything for the money?
Yes.
In terms of what it would go to? Yes. you did.
Yes, we'll get to that, but this is the piece on just the report back. So maybe I can pull the in consultation with if it's unnecessary, but monthly report during adjournment in calendar year 2027 on the installation of Wi-Fi in state correctional facilities authorized pursuant to, and then it's the call out to the authorization. I could also add as amended by this act, because technically that's what it is.
I would keep it in with consultation with. I would keep that language.
The greater detail for the Wi-Fi piece is in the authorization itself and not the report.
So authorized pursuant to 25 acts and resolves of our capital bill of this year.
It's the first year of the biennium, and the thing I would add to make this clear is as amended by this act. The way to think of it is when we do the second year of the biennium and we adjust the act, what we're doing is we're going into sections of the first year, right? And we're amending them. So when we say where the authority is, we say it's in the first year of the biennium as amended by this law. So while you've added it in this act, it lies in the underlying bill.
And the F
Is the
19 is what's on page 10 and 13.
Would you guys like me to jump to the cash section? Because we are at the end of the policy section, so I could do
We
that.
need to see
I think I'm missing something obvious. Calendar year 27.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's a mistake. It should be calendar year 26. Yep.
Okay. I was wondering, or is it fiscal?
Where are you?
Line 20, page.
You're totally right. Yep.
Cool.
I just listed in my paste the wrong year, which means you would have gotten a lot of monthly reports, which everyone loves.
Nothing we like better.
It's like FY 27. That's kind of how I.
That's how that's
Yeah.
probably where it happened in my mind was FY27, but
Sorry, I didn't think of it. Yeah, we're at FY 27.
So that's probably got it.
Right here. So where are you going, Troy?
Gonna.
Gonna go stir the pot.
I have a phone call from my doctor.
Okay, so we're gonna hold off on the language for the Wi-Fi till you come back. I hope you're okay.
okay. It's just,
You really pass it out.
would you like me to go to the start of the bill?
Yeah. I really want Troy here. for the one.
Okay,
You want to do the budget as well, and then we can track the numbers at the same time? Do folks want to do that, or just the language?
Probably just the language, because we're going to have to do it with all the people who are gone again anyway.
and if Scott hears something where he's like, what is that? Me,
That's what we do.
yes, please do. But no, that, it'll be an easy fix, okay. Page one, legislative intent, section one, this is your aggregate total. I have it highlighted in green because this is the final confirmation, right?
It's a beautiful shade of gray
Right.
paper.
That's great. I love the color gray. Very partial. As a colorblind person, I appreciate it. So I will confirm that I wasn't able to plug things into my Excel spreadsheet before I ran over just a
That's
minute.
fine.
Yep. Bond funded project authorizations start with section 2. And the first pieces you're going to see are on page 2. I have retained all of the highlighting that reflects committee decisions against the governor's recommended. So don't think of these as all changes from what you saw earlier today, which is often typical that we have highlighting against what you saw last. So the 3-acre parcel, 1.1 million, that was something the committee had already settled on, so no change there. You do see an update in C, however. So on line 7, statewide major maintenance. In the previous draft, I had used this as the placeholder storage for any excess funds. This now reflects the balance left over after all of the remaining bond allocations, which I think should be, and Scott will tell me if I'm wrong, $9,013,413.18, which is $513,413 in the excess rate.
18 cents. 3 cents to that, make it 21 cents.
I think the 3 cents is part of this, actually. So that's
Yay,
how we got here.
Yay, repo.
And think of how wonderful it would have been had you not had that 3 cents. It
It'd
could
be
have been
15 cents.
15, which sounds so much cleaner.
That's an 18.
Know about that repo crew? Okay. Line 9, statewide 3-acre, you guys had repealed the 1.1 from FY27. No change there. No change in the State House replacement. No change in the 120 State Street. We do have updates from this morning on line 17, subdivision 12. This is the State House entryway upgrades. This is design documents, including comprehensive parking plan and truck access. Same dollar figure, but this is ensuring that those pieces are included.
So, Joe, does that work? Hello?
I'm sorry, well, you know that I was not paying attention to that last piece.
17.
But more than one can play that game.
I know. So this is language that you wanted on the entryway here, so I want to make sure it covers, it's behind you if you want to.
Bottom of page 2. You're there. You're there.
I was there. I just won't-
I want to make sure that because it doesn't include ADA park. We want to make sure as well, we are interpreting comprehensive planning. Parking to also include ADA.
Yeah, but isn't a comprehensive parking plan include ADA in it in context
That's
somehow?
not where it's.
Right,
I don't think you want to guess on anything. I would put it there.
okay,
We
all
don't want
right.
to guess
Well,
on anything.
you know what?
That's the first thing, because they'll move it someplace else.
Unfortunately, sometimes you have to put things in ad nauseum,
Okay.
so that they are
You think a
highlighted.
comprehensive parking plan isn't granular enough? Comprehensive parking plan to include ADA?
The way I would do it is design documents, including comprehensive parking plan that addresses ADA compliance.
Yes.
So it's gotta be more than just ADA
Well,
compliant.
in other federal.
Bottom of page 2.
Yeah.
Well, it's gotta,
Okay.
right, I mean.
I hear you.
ADA is federal.
Do you just want to say including comprehensive parking plan that addresses any federal requirements?
No, because we also need to address legislative parking. We have to address visitor parking. We have to address ADA parking. So it's, once you start,
Right, and it is so it's a comprehensive parking plan, and then you're saying, we think that it's implicit in comprehensive parking plan, all of these things, and then we're saying, well, we're concerned they aren't going to factor in X. So as I understand it, you guys are asking me to call out a particular X, in this case, ADA or federal laws. That's not to the exclusion of other things that would be included in a
What
comprehensive.
if it's a comprehensive parking plan as well as ADA parking?
You can't, I mean, I can do whatever you guys want, to me, as well as suggest that it wouldn't necessarily then be part of a comprehensive parking plan, which it is intended to be.
I know exactly
Yeah.
what you're saying and I agree, but I know what happens come July and August. I'll get a phone call and somebody will read this and say, what was the intent? Because I've been down that road many times.
Yes.
What
So I
was the
think if you
intent?
have it in clear language, they know exactly what.
That's where I'm coming from. Because, and then it's 5 months later and you kind of go, like, what did we talk about? in committee?
Was that where you use like including but not limited to?
Including a comprehensive parking plan that addresses, among other things, ADA compliance.
I think we have to call it out because it's really, I've been down this road that if, like Mary said, if we're not specific, it gets interpreted a little different than we had anticipated, or they call you and say, what was the intent?
Does ADA compliance imply a certain number of spaces or number per people? I mean, you could be ADA compliant with one spot, right?
I don't know. I don't report it. No,
I gotta think that there's a.
There
Could be a
is,
formula for it, so-
there is a formula that we're not gonna meet it for the amount of people in the building and the amount of rooms. There's no way you're gonna meet.
Well, I think a reasonable framework would be that we not make it less compliant, right? Just like a building.
We will be less. Because
Well,
there's no way we can meet, because we look at how many rooms, because I'm in the,
Goes the-
variance
There
board.
goes the pink lady.
You're doing that, it goes by how many visitors, it goes by how many rooms you have. And then you need certain ADA spots, parking spots for that.
Like typically in the land use basis, if you're looking at a pre-existing non-conforming use, you can work with the structure of the site to the extent that you don't make it more non-conforming.
But it depends on the cost of the renovations that you're putting in and how much that counteracts to the current building. I'm on the access board, and that's where you give the variances, and there is a coordination there, so there's a trigger sometimes with the amount of renovations that's going on. I forgot what the percentage is, but it's over a certain percent. And it triggers, we might need a variance for ADA accommodations.
But we still like the language and things that it does what we want.
Or just leaving a comprehensive parking plan.
I was thinking about, yeah, sure.
And truck access is more for delivery of deliveries to the state, It could be-
Yeah.
Could be mail delivery, it could be food delivery, it could be furniture delivery, it could be a variety of deliveries.
Mail's twice a day.
EGS
truck.
filling and stuff.
Could be any
Yes.
delivery truck access.
Okay, so what I could do is design documents, including a comprehensive parking plan that addresses any state and federal requirements, including ADA and delivery truck access. Or we can leave it exactly as it is, which I of course love, but I understand. I
Which you
understand.
prefer?
Yeah, I don't have to take the calls, so, I don't.
Like the delivery truck access. We're not gonna be able to meet federal and state requirements for ADA parking.
Yeah, and this is saying a comprehensive parking plan that addresses state and federal requirements, right?
That
The
address.
way that you address it would be, I'm not doing.
Not doing it.
But I'm very happy that's there.
I do that every day at work.
Easy peasy.
My fear is they come with this, really nice plan for the building with little
Yeah.
or no parking plan.
Right.
Right.
I don't want that to happen because then it'd just be like, this is
They hadn't
a
even-
non-starter.
What
I
about,
hadn't even thought about it until I asked when I said, well, where's everyone going?
It's not. part of
They
the
all look
plan.
if folks don't like addresses, aside from my ridiculous reading of that word, what about that considers? comprehensive parking plan that takes into consideration any state and federal requirements, including ADA delivery truck access. Takes into consideration, doesn't dictate a particular outcome.
Nervous about state and federal. Because we're not gonna meet it. That's what has me concerned, because the use of the building and what's out there in code,
Yep.
we're never gonna meet it.
So
We're never gonna
it's up
meet it.
there, you could run an escalator down the
We're
legs.
never gonna meet it.
So-
Line.
We're just gonna need to take parking in the front lawn here.
So then I think I just need to add delivery.
Yeah, that's where I'm coming from.
Okay.
I full
Happy to.
support with that house.
Yeah.
Oh, you're taking notes, right? Back me up in August. I'll go right to you, Cole, what do we mean? Okay,
Okay, and I'll make sure the aggregate figures are correct at the end, right? Page 3, I think no changes. Human services, sticking with the GovReg, section 4, very similar. Vets Home, I don't have any updates from this morning. I think this is where the committee had landed. And we also discussed, including with VGS, the existing statutory authority for flexibility, and they seemed with the understanding of statute. Clean water remains the same. As you'll recall, this is where I had to make an update. I have the wrong figure listed, but that's been addressed.
clean water,
If you'll recall, in the first draft, I had mistakenly listed 2 million for the municipal control grants, which threw off that was truly just it's literally a typo. Page 6, judiciary is untouched from this morning. And then we jump to the reallocations where I do have an update. It's not going to be visible because it's a deletion. Yep.
scroll up,
Scroll up.
scroll down, move it, because we're at the State House entry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have it paused. I'm so sorry. I was scrolling on my screen, but I had it paused. So here we are at reallocations. And we can jump all the way down to pages 7 and 8. We have our reallocation, same as this morning, 500K from the elevator upgrade in Vermont Veterans Home. We also had that update to the bonded section. On page 8, we have the 63K from the Enhanced 911 Compliance Grants Program, same as this morning. We got the 3 cents.
And we put the 3 cents.
And then I got put towards me. From 15 cents to 18 cents.
Sitting forest and recreational access. What you're not,
Likes their 3 cents. Only kidding.
what you will not see here is a formally highlighted subsection Q, which was 26,000 from the agricultural affairs. As I understood it, you guys wanted that hold with potentially a letter to basically ask that 26K be spent by Franklin County. So that reallocation has been removed, which resulted in a reduction in the balance that would be applied to major maintenance, which is correctly reflected as we talked about in the first section.
So you took that out.
Yes, exactly. So I'm describing something you cannot see. Yeah.
So in Q is the following sums appropriated to capital infrastructure subaccount cash fund. These are reallocations from the cash fund back to our bottom line.
Exactly. These are consistent with the GovRec, and the way that it's structured is those appropriated from the cash fund in the budget, right? You see the section B 1105A, but then the descriptors, the line items for the call outs, because we're trying to ensure trackability through the capital bill rather than searching through the budget. Each of the individual reallocations describes the authorization that's actually in the capital bill, which I think is easier to read, but reflects the underlying complexity of the situation. This is consistent with what we had this morning, so no update to that piece.
So then R is a separate part of the reallocation.
Just a second. The way that it works is Q is talking about sums appropriated from the cash fund to BGS. And authorized in the budget, in a particular budget. R is speaking to a different statutory authority. So if you look at Q, it's those appropriated in 2023 acts and results number 78. And R is talking about 2024 acts and resolves with a couple of different amendments. So in nature, they are the same kind of concern to the committee. They are simply in different subsections because we're calling out different statutory authorities. They do not reflect any difference in what they do. There's no functional difference. It's just, I need to call out different statutory authorities. And again, consistent with prior draft and the gut right. Should I pause here? Okay.
I just said, the speaker wanted to know how long we were gonna be. I said we should be done by 4.
I mean, we're close to being done with all of the language, and then presumably you guys are going to discuss next decisions. So section 9, this is actually the last piece for us to review because we've already done the policy sections. These are your cash funded authorizations.
Section 19.
Yep, and I should be careful to say I'm referencing section 9 of this bill, which amends section 19 of the underlying bill.
Oh, all right.
But you're right.
It's on the bottom of page
Yes, we're actually
29.
both right, which is awesome.
Awesome, we've never been described as that.
I said it may be a first. Oh,
So going on to page 10. I do want to again flag what I said this morning about the relationship to the budget, which hasn't set out the appropriations that are here, and this is sticking currently with authorization language. So just to note, you are still in a situation where technically no appropriations are made for these projects, and if you want to appropriate them, you can do that here. I just need to change the language to say appropriate. Okay.
well, found appropriates. They transferred.
Yes, and as Scott noted, I mean, the difference is that they will transfer and appropriate funds that are otherwise authorized. In this case, they exclusively transfer without appropriating anything. So one could make an argument that no spending authority has been extended. And so until something is duplicated elsewhere, this isn't authorized, isn't appropriate.
I had been advised by finance management that would be the case if we don't have authorization here. They don't have the ability to send us such.
It'll be in the cash fund, but unused.
So the Tropes bill was already, because we were like this last year, we got our bill to a Tropes.
There was some last minute, like, let's make sure these are in both.
Make sure they're duplicated.
Exactly.
Arguably, send
And
it.
they just fix it in the Senate.
Depending on the timeline there, I mean,
Well, they'll get the bill, they'll get this bill end of next week. And the budget bill gets over there Friday or Tuesday next week, so they're gonna have both bills at the same time.
so I would just make sure that there's an understanding if this is what you're going to stick with, because otherwise it is a genuine,
Yeah.
large problem. Yeah.
So that's a conversation with our. We wouldn't have all of this done to add to the approach bill tomorrow, would we? Or not?
And then for third reading kind of a thing.
No.
We need to talk to Grady.
Yeah.
I bet I do.
You just have to get the rules suspended?
No,
No.
No?
Third
reading.
Well, they crossed on.
Oh, the approach bill.
I'd rather see if we could do that.
Because it's related. It's what, one sentence? In their
No,
approach
you
bill?
gotta list all the projects.
No, but in their approach bill, you just have to get the appropriation in there, right?
You gotta list the projects for the 17.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
They just need to pull them in.
Yeah.
But I think we'll talk with Grady, I think.
We have the underlying
new cash appropriations listed here, so.
And it's what we're gonna vote out, we're not gonna change it.
Give them a heads up.
We can do that, right?
I think that's a happier solution.
Yeah.
From an outcome perspective.
Talk to appropriations committee, because then they're gonna want us to come, want me to come before the committee, but we can do that. I'd rather do it that way than it's with the appropriations.
Then it's
Mhm.
their call.
Less issues when it arrives in the Senate.
Right.
Okay, bottom of page 10, you've already seen this language, so the highlight doesn't reflect something new, but adding that sprinkler system installation call out. On page 11, same as you saw this morning and consistent with the GovRec. Bottom of that page, we have 700K for the door control upgrades, same as this morning. Page 12, 1 million for the boiler, same as this morning. The new piece that you do have is on page 13. Two new pieces. So first is subdivision 9. This is a change to what we did see this morning, which this morning it was 3.3 million to BGS for the Agency of Human Services to work with DOC to install a Wi-Fi system in state correctional facilities. It's now to BGS or HS for DOC to work with the Agency of Digital Services, so call out ADS, to install a Wi-Fi system in state correctional facilities that was appropriately designed to address the safety, security, and confidentiality risks appropriate to a correctional environment. So this is trying to merge two concerns. One is you guys want to make sure it's a clear directive that this is a capital expenditure. It's a demand to install the Wi-Fi. It is not just a task to think about planning, right? Install Wi-Fi, and then addressing some of the responses in the ADS letter, which were about safety, security, risks sort of attendant to correctional facilities. So it's install Wi-Fi appropriately designed to address safety, security, confidentiality risks appropriate to a correctional environment, and then an update to the figure down from 3.3 to 3 million.
So the money's gonna be appropriated, gonna go to BGS.
Mhm.
Why would the money go to BGS and
Do you want to go to AHS? Through AHS?
or directly to DOC? Why would it go to BGS?
I will just say that I've included in this way, kind of following some of the conventions in the bill, but if they are project specific, then perhaps that does.
Because BGS doesn't know, it's negotiations between DOC and digital, Agency of Digital Services. BGS isn't involved in this at all unless they say,
Proceed to.
unless at the end of this. Yeah, I mean, the negotiations right now is with DOC and Agency of Digital Services. So I don't think the money should go to BGS. But the question is, does it go to the head of the agency or does it go directly to DOC? I don't want the money to go directly to digital services.
So,
DFC.
just condense it to TSC.
To DOC to work with the Agency of Digital Services, so you know.
Alright. That works.
The next update, new subdivision 20.
So before we go there, does the lines 9 and 10 capture what we want?
I think so. I'm just fast forwarding to. How do I want to say this correctly? The moment of collusion between the agencies.
Mhm.
Saying, we're not,
You got the report back.
yeah, I know.
You got the report back, and who does that report back go to? So to say.
Yeah,
That's correct.
I that's what we want. Yeah, I'm curious to see how it's gonna be interpreted, but
So if we have the report back,
Mhm.
section 17, we have to take out the Secretary of Human Services.
That's a good call. Yep.
You'd be the Commissioner of Corrections and the Chief Information Officer. For monthly report.
Yep, that's good. Yep, thank you.
So does that help you at all, Troy, with that report?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I'm just, my skepticism is in the way right now.
Well, it's gonna, I guarantee you, change once. We'll have more time to
Mhm.
deal with it. Do it. And then, section 20.
Section 20, you guys may want more specificity. Again, this was one I just kind of scrambled to throw in. And you may want a different call it as well, but I have it going through BGS.
If we had that going through BGS for previous,
I can check
I
prior.
think so, it would make sense, but I would think the women's facility is it's not housed in section 3, is it?
Is that how the other money is worded, or does it
We
say?
have to go to previous capital bills.
Okay, I just want to
We
make
didn't
sure.
put
it's-
anything in it last year.
Yeah, I know, but like versus the women's replacement facilities.
We've also talked about reentry and correction. Yeah.
Yeah, we do have a terminology for women's correctional reentry facility.
We've recently used reentry and correctional facilities. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, you gotta do that.
Okay.
So they couldn't be construed as maintenance for the existing facility.
Right.
And not being facetious.
Well, no, there is previous, what you should do is refer maybe to previous capital bills where we've put it maybe.
Which is, we use women's reentry and correctional facilities, but I'm trying to find, the ones I'm looking at are policy sections, and I'm trying to find a capital that has it as a line item.
That would be
With the routing.
for as cash.
In the 24. Let me look at the cash section.
There's also Act number 69 in 2023 as a line item.
Okay,
So
perfect.
that was FY 24-25. Yeah. We did like 500,000, then we did 1.5 million, then we did a big 14 million.
To answer your question, the funds have been appropriated for BGS.
They have been appropriated to BGS. I think we say for the replacement. We say for the replacement of the women's.
I think you,
We've had terminology in previous bills.
You did it, well,
to your previous point, just that it's consistent with that and previous.
Yep. Replacement women's reentry and correctional facilities.
Yeah.
That's easy enough.
You handle that, John?
It's what it would have said had I not rushed to.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
So what would it sort of read now?
Sorry.
What would it sort of read now?
So it sounds like we are routing through BGS, so to BGS. And I can just confirm the line item, but whether we need to include AHS as one of the callouts to BGS for the Department of Corrections for the replacement women's reentry and correctional facilities.
So this is a song and a prayer and holding our nose. I would really like to offer these allocations of the cash fund to the big bill tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
If we can do that, but we'll have to make sure the language is firm and the dollar amounts, and I'm gonna make sure that John, Scott, will have faith in you. You can talk to your folks, I'll talk to Representative Shy, give her a heads up. Then I would be the one offering the floor amendment. And I'm sure it had to go down to appropriations tomorrow.
So, I think the only updates I have to these cash sections, and I'll confirm with Scott as well. In 19, I'll be cutting references to BGS and AHS, otherwise sticking with the language. And then in 20, I'm going to update, like we just talked about, I'll confirm whether to reference AHS and I'll replace for women's correctional facilities, replacement women's reentry and correctional facilities. And that uses the 4.25 million, which is the balance of cash that we have available. I can send that to you, but I think we actually sort of understand. I mean, I will, but I think we already have.
Yeah, and
information,
then you'll have
which
to,
is
for this piece, you'll have to work it up in terms of an amendment as well.
yes. I mean, I will talk to Grady because I know they have their way that they form
Yeah,
this. So mainly, I'm probably just going to be copying and pasting this cash section for them to see. But I'm happy to work with them and draft. There's no issue there.
I sent a note to Grady, not only in the budget team, give them a heads up.
Okay, because I think it's gonna be a lot cleaner if we can get it in on the budget on this side.
Agreed.
Would
Agreed.
be,
Because I
yes.
know what needs to be elsewhere. So, okay.
I'm going to stop screen sharing because I think we've gone through.
To hand out the spreadsheet. Do you know what's happening on the floor at all? Are we still doing budget?
The latest I heard
There.
is 67 will be up after the budget and likely 567 after that, then caucus.
67, they're just tripping in consultation with the major party leaders. But I think it's an amendment given by the independent members.
Yeah.
We have the order.
He's not gonna be here.
And I can't remember the other one.
Yeah.
I guess you're right.
Put one on Zoom.
Yes, it's,
Enjoy.
Yeah, so 67 is government accountability.
Those are third readings.
Yep, and 567 is unclaimed property.
That's
So third reading.
Yeah, and then after that, we promise.
After that,
Are we still doing approach?
I assume so, but I don't know the latest on the budget itself.
Who's speaking?
I can't tell. It's really hard. It's not anyone that, oh, Rob North.
Rob's not on.
He's
Yeah, so it's not outside.
I don't know, unless there's a lot of cages in the building today that I'm not aware of.
It's interrogating. Okay, let's go through. Scott, do you want to go through this real quick? And put out your old. Previous one we had. There.
So. Let me just pull up my notes here. Couple things to notice at the very top. The draft 3 is in yellow. The first one you have was red, then orange, then yellow.
Mhm.
We're doing Roy G. Biv, so hopefully we can get the violet. That's that. We're out of color.
You get to the summit.
Then, going along with what we had talked about. I'm just gonna go through these here. On line 1, we added $513,413.18 to FY 27 bonded.
Mhm.
18 cents happens to be rounded, just, it's there, I just didn't expand that, so, but it is there,
It doesn't show up here, but it is.
it's there, it's just.
You got 13, but it should be 18.
So
19 cents.
I know.
It's
It's
just,
13 here.
it's the rounding of.
Yeah.
Okay, so. Then we look at line 4. We changed the FY 26 bonded to be 1.1 million. And the FY 27 bonded to 0. Total cut of 1.5 million.
Mhm.
Line 9, we removed the word historic.
Mhm.
Line 11. We took 1 million from FY 27 bonded, leaving 1 million. Line 12. Added 1.3 million in FY 27 bonding for State House entryway. Is-
Agreed. So we should add their design documents.
Yeah, we can do that. I just.
On the line right there.
Yeah, design documents. I don't think I want to get into construction documents for this.
Well, but they said that it would lead into it would lead into some construction documents because
But
there's gonna be extra money for
But
that.
that's gonna put
But that's true.
an expectation of our members who are gonna have construction.
right.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Fortunately,
you're learning.
I see, so don't even say that. then.
Right.
Just say design documents. 'Cause if
Copy
you
that.
say construction
Don't
documents,
screw that up. Cole.
they're gonna think we're gonna be constructing by next session.
We will.
Maybe walking through the doors.
So just, I would say just design document.
Please note that from this point onward, since I added a line, all of your row numbers are gonna be different from the last spreadsheet. I know it's a hardship, it's a hardship, but I do have the old, the new if you wanna cross compare, but
I got it.
Okay.
We got it.
the next line I have is line 20. Which is removing 2 million from FY 27 cash, leaving 700,000. Line 29, cutting 1 million from FY 27 cash. Line 31, I added the Wi-Fi here. With 3 million FY 27 cash. New line. Line 32, I just put women's facility, but we can
Can you look at
change it.
previous
I can find them.
spreadsheets and
Yeah.
see how we did that?
So for placeholder for this moment, I
Yeah.
can say women's correctional facilities. Added 1.25 million in cash. At this point, all the cash we had from before is used up.
But we want-
Alice, I want to alert, especially reporters of the bill, to the fact that this is going to draw attention on the floor, replacement facility. We are going to get questions about that.
Favor or opposed?
Oh, yes. I mean, it's been quiet this semester because Essex got shut down, so.
So where would the opposition come from?
Number of things, yes.
Yeah, they're allies, yeah.
Yeah,
Lefty left.
just have to do it.
Yeah, I just want us to be prepared for that.
Line 59, I just added sprinklers to the spreadsheet. Line 60 has a couple things happening. I zeroed the $500,000 in FY 27 cash. I added 1.25 million in FY 27 bonding. $500,000 of that 1.25 does come from a reallocation down below, which we'll get.
Mhm.
Line 126, I removed the 750,000 in cash.
Mhm.
Line 173, I added 500,000.
Watch you after.
Yeah.
So it's-
126, that went to 173, which.
so you went to line 60, where'd you go after that?
126.
Reallocations.
Yeah.
So the reallocations.
Zero that. Then are we on the last page now?
Wait. Your columns don't, your lines don't have it on the right. The numbers on the right. 125 is 126.
So on the right, my
Yeah.
line numbers on the right.
But you added,
Yeah.
but you didn't add out right.
Out the right
So I
side.
was like, wait a minute, how come it's zero?
Typically, JSO will put an Easter egg in every spreadsheet. If everybody's paying attention,
Ah.
I'll make sure I fix that. Sure.
Because we made sure we had we had the line numbers on the right as well, because it's hard to track.
Ask your text.
Because they say, why is that zero there?
Then we did jump to 173. The allocation, that's that $500,000 from last capital bill.
For the elevator,
For the elevator, yep.
they're gonna add it. This is, I know we did it, and I know, I've gotta do it, I gotta think it through when I'm quiet and can really focus. Elevator upgrade.
Line 60 where we had that from.
Yeah, I know, but there was also a money left over and then we added, so I know I posted. So. Okay,
On line 174, we added 63,413. That was the repo from E911, I believe.
yeah,
On 175, we added 3 cents.
Will work.
And at the
Can't
very,
wait
very
till
bottom, I
someone
think it's line
asks
two oh six,
somebody.
is, it should be all zero.
And it's 205 on the right-hand side, it needs to be 206.
Now we're down at.
Awesome.
That work?
That's-
So tomorrow, what I would like tomorrow, I haven't talked to the rest of the next guy and she can focus. You can talk in your world, with your budget books, do an amendment. For the allocations, for the cash. And, then tomorrow, I would like a plain copy of the bill. For us to really work, so that should be edited, just in case, John.
Yeah, and just FYI, two things. This, aside from the latest round of revisions I have, it has actually been edited. We are short-staffed right now, but the draft has been edited fairly comprehensively, and we'll just have to point out the updates, so it should be feasible.
I really want folks to read the language, to understand it.
Got it.
Yeah, a clean copy of the spreadsheet, if everyone wants to just recycle your spreadsheets, I can do a clean one.
I'm more concerned about the amendment. I got lots of feet on some of those. So I think we're in good shape to get this puppy out tomorrow, so you can put it on the agenda, possible vote, possible vote.
Yes.
Oh, you could.
I'll sit in this chair. I usually have my weekly check-in with the speaker at 9 o'clock. I can see. I don't know if John's gonna be ready at 8:30. I may have to go to a groups. I'll know that tonight before we leave. Be prepared for flexibility tomorrow, because I don't know what's gonna happen on the board tomorrow, but we'll work this out. We'll be here in the afternoon, one way or the other. Because if we get all of the floor work done in the morning, we're gonna have to come in the afternoon and do some work. Or maybe floor will go in the afternoon, we'll have to come off. I don't know. Depends what happens today, depends what happens tomorrow. If we could get a copy that would be ready to go to be submitted, it's our final version.
So I've done all the things you guys just asked me to do, so it's actually good aside from me and Scott just getting together to make sure all the numbers line up. I'll update my spreadsheet to make sure everything adds up and we can just confirm. At that point, I will send to editing and tell them the intent is to vote it early. I mean, I can ask it to be back as early tomorrow as we can get it. Potentially, you'd be in a position to vote tomorrow morning.
You know, just don't know,
Because
I'm sure I'll have to go to a probes.
I am tied up tomorrow from 9 to 9:30, but I'm otherwise free for the morning.
I may have to go to a probes.
Yep. So I'm just,
I just, so I gotta talk to Rob, I'm not talking to her right now, but I'll talk to her after I finish the budget on the floor.
How long will you do before you think? Couple more hours.
Oh, we're gonna be late tonight.
Yep.
It'll be till 7 o'clock.
Okay, I'll call my dad. No dinner with him.
No.
I haven't been able to go to dinner with him the last couple of weeks.
Well, we're gonna
Sorry,
talk
stop.
after whatever happens in that.
We'll see. Jim.
I'll say, I would say. I know nothing. I'm just an Indian.
Didn't you just get here?
Feel like it. So we're done until tomorrow, we're just not sure what time tomorrow, just stay in touch.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll email you
Thank
at
you,
the end
Chair.
of the evening.
Thank you to all the staff.
Yeah.
Thank you all for
Thank
the
you,
work.
staff.